tried hard to educate those people about the copyright, because we have been member of Tanzania Musical Copyright Association by then, when Kasota was not yet started. When Kasota was started, we joined also. And we insisted those people to join to those copyright associations so that they can be protected their rights on this music. But many of the people, they feel like they are not concerned, they are less concerned with this. And what are the consequences are we encountered? When we started, we didn't even think that these products, the products we're offering, will go as very far as the Yana, all the way to Congo, to South Africa, even to Europe. And so is when we started to experience this, these issues of this copyright. And when we were selling, for example, CDs and these audio cassettes and video cassettes like DVDs and whatever. So we come to recognize that there are other products of the same kind coming all the way from Uganda and from Kenya. When we make follow-up, we get that there are some other guys who are reproducing our products. Then it's when we started to say, oh, what can we do? Whereby we started to join this copyright association, and we tried to be educated. We invite them for seminars, and also we go for to there, maybe when they call something like a workshop, then we go there to get education. Now, what was the problem? Because here I have I come to recognize that by then when we was dealing, for example in Kenya, we tried to stop it, but we didn't. We tried also in Uganda, we didn't. Some of the guys who were producing, they are of the high governmental officials. They have relationship. How can you do? We come to discover that our copyright is within our country. It's like we try to follow some regulations, for example, asking the permission for the Copyright Society of Tanzania so that they can connect us, they can link us with those Uganda and Kenya. So by this, at least, we could even try to reduce this copyright dependency, we say the dependencies of these fake materials. Till now we are struggling, till now we are also yelling with other people, like intellectual, this organization now, to join together, to join hands so that we can fight against this uniform corruption. We as the SBE, we call ourselves like the small business enterprises, we need some help with this national and international organization to help us. One question, as he was saying here, we come to discover that there are some, when I can say natural economic forces, I can say. For example, when you are talking about the Chinese to come to pirate our things here or to bring the fake material, why those also Kenyan come with our products here? We get to know that because we didn't supply enough. No, when demand went high and our supply was very low, and also the people need it, so they pirate. As we are as small enterprises, we cannot satisfy the market. So those guys, what they do, we come to know that they just survey the market.
2 minutes, please.
Oh, thank you very much. And they do market segmentation. Later on, they say, okay, even the preferences of the people, the customers, they do it. So, it's you guys. What can you advise us? That's why we are here. So, that was our experience. Sure. Thank you very much.
We want to clap for you. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Gentlemen, come on. What's your name, sir? Yeah? Haule. Haule, sit down. I would like you to moderate this session on my behalf for only 5 minutes so that I can see your performance. I'm sure you do excellently. Professor Ladeka, he has got more time to round up. So try to catch up with the rest first, and then we can give you a chance to round up. Can you do that for me? 5 minutes only. Okay, you say we have 2 sessions that has just finished, 2 papers. The one for the counterfeits and the one for the, they call creative industries, regulatory model. So we'd like you invite everybody here to discuss. And I give you 5 minutes to conduct this session. Karibu sana.
Yeah, thank you very much for this precious chance. So because I've given only 5 minutes, so I don't want to waste more time. So I welcome question for the 2-part session. Starting with the first one, welcome.
Yes, I have a question. The presenter of the paper on counterfeits, and he seems to be busy. Yeah, I suggest that the presenter wants attention. Yeah, my question is about the counterfeits. You made some comparisons. Those comparisons are okay. In your presentation, you implied that counterfeit goods and actually the genuine goods, the difference is that those which are counterfeits are being brought through the back door, something like that, but not meaning that their quality is different. So it means that I can buy a counterfeit good, it's the same quality as the good which is not counterfeit. Because if the chair is imported from whatever, wherever, and the same quality, whether it's counterfeit or genuine, it's okay. So do you mean that counterfeit goods and those genuine goods are of the same quality? Or because we are made to believe that the counterfeits are substandard goods?
Thank you very much. The presenter, I think you have reserved the question. So I add more 2 participants, then you answer later. Anyone?
Maybe I have something about the second presenter, about the music industry. Several times I've seen in the internet, I was trying to look in the YouTube, and then you can come across with a lot of the product, music product is uploaded in the internet, and you can listen, and if possible you can download it and buy. I don't know how they use that particular principle of uploading, because they uploaded and there is somewhere, if you wanted to access it, you have to subscribe. So that you can buy, you can pay something, and then you can get that particular music and download it in your, maybe your laptop or wherever. And if possible, you have a banner, you can ban in your empty CD, and then you can put in your DVD at home and listen. You see, simple like that. So there are other programs which now they can allow you to download it there without any payment. I don't know how they look at it.
Yes, you understood? Yeah, the last question. Yeah, thank you very much. Another, the last one. Thank you.
I just wanted to ask you straight to Radio Habari Maalum. I think it's listening. Just to ask if they have got any experience of a dispute that maybe they have recorded the music or a song that belonged to someone else. And if not, how are they checking to make sure their customers who are coming for Radio Maalum, they really have their original work and not the edited kind of song?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think it's over now. Let me turn to the participants so that we will respond to what you have been asked. Thank you.
Tell him to come in. Invite him.
Yeah, you may come there.
Yeah. Thank you very much for these genuine questions. Maybe I have to start with the third one, going up, the copyright. About those our customers who come to record there, we always cross-check. You know, when you are dealing with a certain industry, you have to know also. You are dealing with music, you have to know music. For example, it's not once when we stop some other people who come to record, then we say, oh, this is not your property. I remember one case from one group from here in Arusha when they come and they want to record one song, say, Yesu Zaliwa, Bethlehem. You know the song. So I told them, this is not your song. They said, we have to record it. But finally, they accepted. They didn't record till now. So we know, because we have been listening, not only to what we recorded from also other studios. So we have to, when we know, we cannot dispute it or even record. Secondly, that was about internet. About internet, what is there is that when you put the music, you can see someone told you, you access the music, they have demo. You can see the demo, you want more, you have to buy, isn't it? And they put some passwords for it that you cannot download. Even though you can download, but the pixels of these songs are very low. The quality you got there is very, very low. As you know that when you are broadcasting, there are some percent which has been lost of the quality, whether it's picture or sound. So it's not accurate. For example, many of them are in MP3, even for other formats, which are very, very low quality. So they know that at the end of the day, you will need to have the quality. And the first question was, are they counterfeit? And this genuine material are the same quality? Of course, the answer is not. Because when you are pirating, you cannot have the original, because we have been imitating what someone else is doing. When you have a standard, you want to if your standard here want to reach, you must be somewhere below. So, unfortunately, the quality are different. Even you can see even what we can say ladder na nini tofauti kabisa.
Very good.
Yeah, thank you very much for the good response. Yeah, it's my honor now to welcome Doctor. May I call Doctor?
Yeah, of course.
To summarize what you have been taught.
Okay. Just for the radio.
Yeah, thank you very much. I really appreciate the presentation from our friend from Radio Habari Maalum. This is very commendable. I don't have anything to add except that nowadays, as we go to the digital environment, it is necessary to have agreements with giant digital owners like YouTube, etc. So that when your music is played, they give you something. That's how it is with major recorders in the world. That's how they get money. So Radio Habari Maalum is also a giant recorder here in Tanzania. You can learn how to enter into agreements, like how Sony is doing, and you cannot play Sony music on YouTube unless you pay. But other musics you can download them, etc. So nowadays we are moving from intellectual property of saying this is mine into intellectual property of saying let us share. The last one is about counterfeits.
Sorry. He has not replied, so please.
Okay. But he said something about the quality of pirated and non-pirated.
You can combine later.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much. You can clap again for good answer. Yes.
Invite you.
Okay, welcome.
Thank you. I'm going to respond to the question asked by Mr. Zafania. I want to go back to the words used by the presenter. it says counterfeit involves making goods whereby those genuine ones are imitated to such a manner and such degree that those other goods, the counterfeits, are identical or substantially similar copies of the protected ones, of the genuine ones. They are genuine, I mean they are potentially the same. In some cases, it may not be, the quality or the value may not be different. But in most cases, the quality is different, and this can be seen directly when we look at the live examples of the effects. A counterfeit electric iron with the trademark Philips, we know Philips is PH, but this one is counterfeit, PI, then it caused shortage. Then that tells us that the quality was low. Another one, the baby which caused that loss, and then this metakelvin was counterfeited, caused death of a patient. It tells us that this was of low quality compared to the original one. So with these examples, and we can check, of course, the phone batteries. You know them, you're using them. So in most cases, the value is not the same. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we need to clap for, what's the name? Good luck Haule. Good luck Haule has done a very good work. Let's clap for him. Okay, thank you very much. Nema, can you finish with the last 5 minutes? Can you come from here? I'll tell you what to do. No, you're in personal relations with the company. You cannot refuse this. I would like you to ask it for people to know if there is any more questions, and then you give some good preference to Edward, the lawyer, to reply on anything he wants on counterfeits and also on the incentives on Habari Malum, if he has anything to say, and anybody else to pitch in. Please kindly do the work. For 5 minutes. Last 5 minutes.
Again, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm well honored to take the position from Zay for these 5 minutes, which I promise to use very, very well. So I'll start with Edward Lekaita. I'd like to welcome Edward Lekaita to give his comments on counterfeits.
One thing is very complicated for a very normal citizen to recognize what is genuine and what is not genuine. Most likely you will get it when it's already too late, because if you see the examples until electricity goes off, for you to know that this is not genuine. And by the way, it does not always mean anything that brings a shock with electricity means not genuine. It can also have a lot of complications as voltage and so on. But my small comment is, if you're used already to a genuine stuff, then go through it, take time to go through it, go to the details of that, and then probably when another product comes into the market, please read as well and try to identify if there is a, but I must agree, it's an area which is very complicated. Thank you.
Asante sana for your well-valued comments. Well, I'd like to invite members of the floor to give their general comments on counterfeits, especially now that we've seen our markets flood with counterfeits from different countries, especially China and others. Karibu. Ladies from Makumiro University, please don't let me down.
Thank you. What I can say for these counterfeited products, I think it's the government or any institution to create awareness to people that people should be aware to look on the genuine of the products they bought from different shops. For example, I can say, maybe I myself, I can differentiate a phone from China, a Nokia from China, and a Nokia from Hungary. Really? Really? You will put your phone, eh? Not really, but people should know when the government use, they can advertise that these counterfeit they are very cheap. We people, we like buying cheap things. You can buy a phone maybe of 50,000 with a genuine product is of maybe more than that. You can stay with it for 2 months, then you buy another, then you buy another. While you could buy a genuine product, you could have stayed with it for a long time. So I think it's a matter of awareness to the general public that should be provided by the public and to the government.
Asante lady from Makumira. Is there anybody else who would like to comment on counterfeits? Before I make a closing note on that.
I think it is a time now for our country to enact a law which deals specifically with counterfeits. As we have seen that now, only under penal code we have forgery. I think there is a need to have a law which deals direct with counterfeit. Thank you.
Asante again from our student. So generally, to close this down, I'd like to recall a case where China was sued by a number of states, including the European Union, over a counterfeit matter. It is unfortunate that I cannot really remember what the ruling was, but from contributions from my former lecturer and from the little memory that I'm remaining with, is that one of the justifications that China had made, though I would say the justification was kind of weak, but then it was entertained by weak regulations. China had made in one of their justifications, they had mentioned that the reason why they had this opportunity, the reason why they were producing these counterfeited goods was the demand from the market. They say, suppose a buyer is requesting that they need to drive a Mercedes, and they made special references to LDCs, sorry to say, African countries in particular. They say, suppose an African country is asking for, a buyer in the African countries is asking for a Mercedes, and this person is telling you, I only have, say a Mercedes goes for, say, about $800. And this African buyer is negotiating for $500, and this person is saying, okay, you can adjust some of the conditions of this Mercedes. I don't need real leather seats, leather covers on the seats. So please put ordinary covers. Then this person is going down again and bringing down renegotiating the conditions of this Mercedes to a standard where this Mercedes will then cost this $600 in which he can afford. What should they do as a capitalist country? They're operating, all they want to do is make profit. They need to sell. So the argument was, what do they do in such a position? A buyer in Africa, a buyer say in Arusha, Nema wants to buy, to afford a BlackBerry, but she doesn't have enough to buy a BlackBerry. So she orders that these are the specifications for the BlackBerry phone that I'd like to have. Please remove reduce the GBs on the phone, on the chip, on the memory card. Reduce this, remove this. I won't want to use the Outlook internet on this phone. So we are the ones who bring the standards down. So on this case, I'm not so sure of the ruling. I cannot recall, I'm sorry. I wish I had time, then I could research and tell you exactly what the ruling was, but the bottom line is that we ourselves entertain some of these counterfeit materials, because at some point we do realize they're there and we do nothing about it. Thank you.
That is very, very good. Can we clap for Neema? Neema, Haule wanted to ask a question. Could you take over, please? Yes, for Haule.
Yes, Haule Karibu.
It was not really a question, but from what we have been told, that it is very difficult to identify this product, what is the original product and which one is this counterfeited product. Now, also, we have this another very important something to understand, that once the product is brought in the market, we have this free market. And also we have to know that in the society we have people of different levels of economy, especially we less developed nation. So we are forced by the environment to to buy those commodities. And if you abstain them to buy those commodities, life will be disastrous. So I don't know how we're going to solve this problem. Yes.
So the challenge remains to us. Do we use the counterfeits and do we just, they say, do we gamble and just use the counterfeit or refuse it and die? It still remains a challenge to you and me.
Neema, your voice is so lovely. Let's give a chance to engineer Noela. Please kindly do that.
Karibu Noela.
Kwa mimi nilikuwa nasema bado counterfeit inaweza kawa ni njia mojawapo nzuri ya kuwafanya wale original manufacturer wa vile vitu kuongeza labda manpower ili waweze kuingiza vitu vinavyotosheleza market iliyopo. For example, kuna baadhi ya nchi ukienda Ulaya, ukiagiza vitu fulani anakuambia hatuna representative wa Afrika, so hatuwezi kukuuzia. Nahitaji mimi kile kitu, nifanye nini? Lakini nikimwambia Mchina nataka hiki na hiki na hiki, anamwambia okay, utapata. Kwa lakini Mchina akileta sasa, huyu anakuwa kwa nini anakuwa basi ataleta mwakilisha Afrika. Kwa somehow yes.
Can you also after your comments?
Okay, I'll make brief comments, then I'll pass on the mic to our esteemed guest, Mr. Lantaika, and coordinator as well. Well, the bottom line here in this discussion, as it seems, is that governments as well as individual organizations such as TIPNET have a great work to do, has a big burden to work on. That is, let us look at what are other LDCs to start with. Let us not look at Europe where they already developed and they've had IPs for about 300 years. Let us look at other developed countries, or developing or least developed countries. What are they doing in terms of innovation and the rest? What are they doing about managing IPs? Let us look at Rwanda, where even though we know the economy is not so well, what are they doing about this? We've seen that the government there has invested more on innovations and technology. They know that they'll deal with the situations such as counterfeits for today, but what they're doing is putting, sponsoring as much as they can activities that have to do with innovations. For instance, they're putting more efforts in supporting students in technology studies, especially ICT, where the students are very well informed on such matters. They're focusing on years to come, say 2 to 3 decades to come, where technology would be on everybody's mind. It would be on your breakfast, it would be on your dinner, it would be with you when you're going to bed. It would be like when Lateka quote like Lateka, I'm not infringing your IPs, where he said, there'll come a time when you'll have a chip on a part of your body, and it is only through this chip that you'll enter a door or leave a building. And when we get to that stage, I don't know where we'll be standing as Tanzanians to start with. So let us look at these countries such as Rwanda. What do we do with our youth? How do we capacitate them to come and deal with such situations? We've only seen one, counterfeits, and it's already eating us up. There are more to come. We should brainstorm. This is a challenge posed to us, not to threaten us, but to wake us up, so that we think of what should happen. Karibu Latika.
Very good. A big. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm very impressed. I didn't know that we have such a big brain. Neema was in the first class that I taught when I just finished my master's. So actually, the class that came after Neema, my proper students, Neema was actually my colleague more or less. The dean just assigned me to teach them some few remaining courses. So she's more of my colleague, and I know she did an IP course at Esami, and she is very, very much knowledgeable. So for her, I really don't have to add anything. Everything she has said is super correct. Thank you very much.
What more shall I say? You know, if the professor says the colleague has done a very good work, we want to say that because we have asked the stimulating questions, actually our session has been very, very successful. And we want to thank William for your very wonderful organization, for selectively choosing the right people, and for having the third year Macmillan University students who has participated wonderfully. We want to thank also the engineer Noela. Your contribution has been very well noted. And Laltaika has connected it very well to some other areas that we did not hear before. We'd like also to appreciate Dr. Simon for your presence here. Bwana Shukurani for your contribution, and also for our learned journalist for your contribution and questions. And we want to say that we have really enjoyed very much. We are very happy for the participation of the students. One of them actually demonstrated the power of sharing information with others. I tell you, they're already very competent. Laltaika, I would like your advice. We had a paper on that was to be presented by William on the strategic plan of TIPNet. But I would like to ask whether do we still have time for that, or can William tell us whether they can present in 5 minutes, or shall we go into the closing session? William.
Mr. Mbena and myself are presented in 10 minutes, the two of us. So, and Mr. Mbena will start. And then...
Accepted. So, we'd like to ask you, participants, if you could kindly afford to share with them 5 minutes each to make this final presentation. And kindly please do it in 10 minutes. Karibu sana bwana, shukrani.
Actually, we're going to do together. We want to have a takeaway because we have been discussing all these things this morning about intellectual property. We have touched on trademark, we have touched on copyright, patents, counterfeits, and all other things. We as IP network, after this we are going to be working in our offices to make sure that these things that we are discussing are really happening. And that's why in the timetable you see we have indicated a way forward. Now, what are we going to do? It's not enough just to say we have to find a way to do. We really have to find it here. Let us come with suggestions, and as an organization led by the Secretariat, we will be doing something to make sure that what we are discussing and what we have learned is happening. So now, I would like everybody, every one of us, to think through what he has learned this morning and answer these two questions. What would you want to see happening?
No, go ahead.
Yeah. What would you want to see happening? Think of the Tanzanian community, because you are Tanzania Intellectual Property Right Network. What would you want to see happening in Tanzania? That's the first question. And the second question, what has to be done? What activities has to be taking place in order that we address this challenge of intellectual property? Right. Have you understood my two questions? We'll group into three, and you will be using a flip chart. We only have 10 minutes, and one member from each group will present at the end quickly. But when the first presenter presents, the second should not say what the first presenter has said, just to save time. Can you quickly group into three groups?
Excuse me. Supposing I kindly ask you to do otherwise, because I can see. Do you think there is really enough people in time for the people to
No, 10 minutes. Yeah, for that time, okay. They can just write down. If time is not enough, then that's fine. So can you group into three? Just quickly. The last and the one group is really want to see happening as far as intellectual property right is concerned in Tanzania? That's the first question. The second, what do you want to see, what should be the activity to be done, especially when you think of our network, our Tanzanian intellectual property network. What should the Secretariat be doing? This kind of a brainstorm. Just come with the answers. There's no right or wrong answer. Just come up with the idea. The only thing, we are not going to patent your idea. Hayo mawazo tunaenda kuyafanyia kazi. Tunataka kazi ifanyike. Hatutaki tuishe na discussion. We've got 10 minutes from what we have understood in the morning. Guys, we only have 8 minutes.
Repeat the questions.
Seven minutes to go.
If you manage, inakuwa vizuri kama mkapata sehemu ya activities alafu sehemu ya what do you want to see. Separate.
To go.
What are the activities you want to be done regarding SMEs?
5 activities from each group. At least 5. Five minutes to go.